we've got in front of us the standard forms layout, and I've got a couple of quizzes I've made earlier, but we're going to look at doing a quiz, which is what's shown there, and a new form. And you can think of a new form as a questionnaire, and a quiz is a self-marking if you want it to be quiz. But let's have a quick look at the new form or the questionnaire. Now I've created one here. If you click new form, it will create a brand new form. You can give it a title, so I'll call that parental questionnaire. Add a description if you want. You can add a picture to go beside it, and then you can click add new. And if I just do a choice, you'll notice here that it looks very similar to doing a quiz, as we'll see in a minute. But what you don't get is the ability to select a right answer and the ability to add additional text if they have got the wrong answer. You can put, are you happy? And as soon as you put are you, often it will think, oh, I think I know what you want, and you can click add all. I'm just going to close this one down, and we'll have a look at one that I've created earlier, just to give you an idea of some of the things that you can do. So go back to forms and have a look at parental questionnaire or parent questionnaire. So you'll see here, I've got parent questionnaire, and I've got my first question. So this was set up as a fairly standard choice, but what I've done here is rather than just pick a choice, I select a drop down. So if I do a choice, I can, when we go to preview, you'll see I can select one or the other. But if I go back and change it to drop down and go back and look at preview, you'll see I now get a drop down to choose from, reception year 1, year 2. So that's the difference between those, and you get that on a choice option. So I'll leave that as a drop down. Name of your child, and I put they need to answer that one. You see it's got a star against it, so it must be answered. And I might go back to this one and say, yes, it's required. Notice when you do a drop down, you can't have multiple answers, whereas if you have want to shuffle that, if you have a choice, you can put multiple answers. So someone could pick reception and year 1, and it puts it as a tick box square rather than as a radio button, which is the circle. I'm going to go back and I'm going to leave that as a drop down because I quite like that. So name of the child is required. How would you rate the school dinners? And so on this one, this is a ranking. And with the ranking one, I asked it to put a label as well. So I've got 1 is awful, 5 is excellent. And how many levels are there? 5. And what symbol do I want? What stars? You could have a number. And so I'm happy with that. What date is your child? What is your child's date of birth? And again, that was just picking a date option. So if I click on this one and just go add new, you'll see I've had a look at choice, which is the first one, text, second one, rating, third one, date is this last one. You've also got a ranking where you can create a ranking list. So I maybe have a look at that. And which school options do you preference? So we might have here after school PE, chess club, drama club, a coding club. That will now create a ranking. And if we have a look at a preview on that one, you will see that people can drag and drop their answers as they see fit. Let's go back again. So that's a ranking scale. Add new, and the last one would be a Likert scale. And a Likert scale is where you can have along the top your choice, your sort of responses, and then down the side it might be. So let's have a look. So it's great for. We could pick that. So fair, good, very good, exceptional, excellent. And you might have here got some school dinners, and then it might be breakfast club, and had another one, and it might be after school club. And you might decide whether you want to make that required or not. The other one is that you could have a branching statement. So I might put up here, let me add a question in here. A choice do you use for or after school? And I could have yes and no. And I'm going to branch this now. So if they've said yes, I'm going to take them to this. If they said no, I'll take them to the end. So I can now do settings. I can add branching. And so if yes, go to next. And if no, go to the end of the form. And what you'll see now is if I go back into here and look at preview, and I come down to here, do you use for or after school? If I click yes, it adds in some additional questions. If I click no, I don't get to see them. And so that's quite a clever bit about branching. So you can add that in based on people's responses. And you can do lots of different branching and make it as complicated as you want. So that's a little bit about branching. I'll go back again. And once you're happy with this, you can then share it with your parent community. A couple of things to bear in mind. I can add a theme to it. So I could add maybe that as my theme. You can, if you really want to, and you've got some, you've had some images done that are around the school, and maybe it's a nice image of the school, you could go here and you could upload an image of your school if you wanted to. I'll keep that for the minute. And then if I go to share, anyone with a link can respond. Now, because you're sharing this with the parental community, you are not going to want to have someone sign in. So you've got only people in my organization can respond. So if you were giving out a survey to staff and you wanted them to respond, you want to know which member of staff had responded, then you would use that one. They'd have to log into Office 365 and give their username and password, or you had to log in, and therefore you'd know who it was, and you wouldn't need to say, what is your name? If you were doing it with pupils in your school, you could do it only when they're logged in, so only people in my organization can respond, so you'd know which child had responded. Because if you're giving it to parents, you're going to need them to, they won't have accounts on your system, and therefore anyone can respond. So I'm happy with that. And I could copy this link and I could then send it out to parents in an email, and they would then be able to click on that and complete the questionnaire. Share as a template. If you work in a group of schools and you want to share this between the schools, you can create a template and share that with other schools. Or even if you want to have one for year 1, one for year 2, one for year 3, you can create a duplicate and they can then create their own. And I'll show you that in a second. And share to collaborate is that gives you the chance to share it with another member of staff. Maybe you're working on it together, or you want someone to review it, check your spelling, make sure you've got all the right questions in, and you'll notice I haven't got any question marks in there. Maybe someone's going to go through that and have question marks. If you share a link, a view and edit link, then someone can have a look at it and check it for you. So I'm just going to click get a link for a duplicate, and I'm going to click copy. So I've now got that copied, and I'm going to go into Office. I'm going to click it's my link and go that. And now it's created a duplicate. There is the questionnaire. Whatever you do, don't share the duplicate. What you want to do is click duplicate it. And once you've duplicated it, you now have a copy of that in your area, say you're a year 3 teacher, and you can now share that with your class. And you might go, actually, I need to make some changes to this one because it's year 3 class, and of course we've only done year 1, year 2. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to change this now, and I might make this year 3, year 4, year 5, add an option, which of course would be year 6. So this now is appropriate for junior school, and the other one was appropriate for an infant school. And that's now saved. I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to click save. You can see it's got branching in it because it's got that symbol there. If I go to preview now and I click here, you will see I've now got year 3, 4, 5, 6. And it will even put it into immersive reader if you want it to. It also will show you what it looked like on a mobile phone. So you can go, oh, how does that look? That looks really good on a mobile phone. I'm really happy with that. That looks really good. So you get to see how it would look on a mobile phone. And if you're happy, then you can then share that with your class. I hope you found that useful. That is a questionnaire. The next video I will be doing will be looking at how to do a quiz. Thank you.